Today I'm going to talk about with a very specific strike, which either is a Mainichi or Gyaku, Yokomen. All strikes with a jaw are done in Yokomen. If you do the empty-handed technique, so whether it's the right side or the left side, Yokomen, not straight cut. And now I want to talk about this because there are a few points I'd like to demonstrate why they're done into Yokomen strike. First and foremost, in Iwama Aikido, we have this clear hamni, the footwork. Whether I hold a jaw or a bokken, the footwork is exactly the same as in I was doing taijutsu, tano hanko, ryote kata dori, mune dori, all various possible attacks. There is a very strong relationship between taijutsu and bukiwaza in Iwama Ryu, so there's no separation of the two. In fact, when you practice weapons, we must think about taijutsu, how do they apply, and vice versa. When you do taijutsu, how would your body apply with a weapon in a specific moment? Or when you come into Itoremi, you have these strikes, you have Itoremi this way, so there's various body positions. I want to say these things because in Iwama Aikido, we don't have the front foot position open here. The problem with this position, and I mean no criticism because obviously we have to go back through the history of Aikido, the pre-war Aikido and the post-war Aikido, we can clearly see an evolution, and O-sensei was continuously mastering or improving the art. So he was doing an entire research through his lifetime, and through the end of his lifetime, I think he's basically created the masterpiece that we know in terms of Iwama Ryu Aikido with all the weapons and taijutsu. That is my thinking, and I mean no criticism in any other arts, because obviously what has happened is a pre-war, you have various instructors who studied under O-sensei and stopped, and then launched schools, and same after the post-war and the early 60s and so forth. So in the late 60s, the Aikido has continuously evaluated, so, and it's still developing as we speak today. But what is important is that when you have this footwork like this, it opens up your hips in a very precise angle and actually locks your hips. So if you're holding the jaw into Ken no Kame, then you're kind of stuck because all you can do is forward. The beauty of this hamni, it gives you much more options. So you can basically twist your hip at an angle. So from Ken no Kame, you could do Ushiroski, straight. If you have this stance, you can't do Ushiroski because you have to, well, if you do, you'll find that your foot here is not in the right placement, and it feels quite wrong with the hips, in my view. So by having a clear front foot straight with Ken no Kame, then a lot of possibilities happen. Now when you do Mainichi Ushiroski, think of taijutsu. How do they apply? Here you've got Itorimi, avoiding an attack. So it's not just putting the ken or the jaw above your head. When you strike into Yokomen, and you go back into the center. The strike is Yokomen. It is not straight, because it doesn't feel right. And I'll demonstrate that. If you're stepping to avoid an attack from the ski, Yokomen comes down very nicely, straight to the side of the head. And that is the reason why Yokomen comes in. So when you haven't got the weapon, you step back, for example, Itohemi, avoiding, Itohemi, avoiding. The footwork is at this angle. So you do have a form of Itohemi here, and more so to the back. You can do multiple attacks, and it's the same for Gyaku, Yokomen, Ushiroski. So left side, avoiding strike, there, for example, to the side of the head. So you have this feeling, and into the suburi here. So it needs to be a cut back to the center. But you have the possibility of doing a strike with minimal footwork, maximum ability, turning of the hips. So that's very important. The other thing that I also convinced why with a jaw, where Yokomen, if you practice with a bow, which is a longer staff, and you've got a longer staff here, you will have to stand slightly to the side, and you strike, you have to stand to the side. And it is possible to do it with a longer staff, because you're adjusting the body to the side. So if you've got a shorter jaw, it goes back to the center, not here, back to the center. But if you've got a longer jaw, the body is unaffected, the body posture is unaffected, and you could do it. If you believe that is Menuchi, straight into vertical cut with a long bow, you will have a problem, because it will go straight into here, and you wouldn't be able to do the vertical cut. So this is very strong evidence that it's got to be Yokomen. The other factor is that, for example, when you do kumijo, very clearly, if somebody comes and thrusts, and he adjusts, he thrusts back, you go in, strike into Yokomen, and then he comes to strike into Yokomen, stepping out of the line, then here is more evident. It's got to be Yokomen for the strike and avoiding. Sometimes you have this option that comes into Kumijo Henka. So for the number one, Henka, as soon as you strike Yokomen, you have the option of doing Gedan Gaishi Chamber. And you have this position of Itohemi, he comes and strikes. There's various ways of moving our body. So, without the jaw, we have this feeling we've got to find the body posture. So if we do Men Uchi, Ushiroski, so we have this feeling with the body. Itohemi, avoiding, strike, avoiding, and strike at the same time, and thrusting to the back. We need to find a relationship between Taijutsu and Bukiwaza. Then Bukiwaza that we practice, they're not just on how to strike. Yes, there is that element of striking. From Tsukino Kame, Shodan Geishi, Uchi. We've got the strike. Comes on to a natural Yokomen Uchi. But it's finding the body, how the body works. That relationship is the same. So, Tsukino Kame. You have this same feeling, body turning. Yokomen Uchi. Grab and do all sorts of techniques. Relationship between weapons and Taijutsu empty-handed technique come hand in hand together, very solid together. The body shape is possible or made possible because you've got the same footwork, whether it's empty-handed or whether you're holding a jaw. So just wanted to make this video to clarify the point that the jaw strikes Yokomen, Yaku, Yokomen Uchi, Yokomen. Very clear distinction. I think important to bear that in mind. I hope this video has been very helpful to help you improve your Aikido study. Thank you for watching.